Luke, you were having a conversation with your friend a few days ago, something about a plane crash.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's definitely a bright kid a couple of days about a plane crash that we saw in the news. And it was interesting because one thing he said was, I don't understand why people are afraid to fly or would be deterred by this because, well, we've gotten this plane crash out of the way, so it should actually be safer now.
Can you explain, first of all, why this is a very natural way for people to frame this kind of situation?
It certainly seems like a natural way to think because things such as plane crashes or power outage or something like that, it seems rare that you have one of those events like a plane crash and you hear about that in the news, and then the next day you hear about another plane crash. And so it would make sense to think, oh, well, here's this plane crash, and then we'll wait a couple months and maybe we'll hear another one, but in between it'll be good. But this isn't the right way to think about it, and the reason is the independence between these events. It's not as though the one plane crash would say to the other, hey, give it a couple months, just wait, and then you can go ahead and crash.
Can you explain maybe a situation where the probabilities are not independent, where maybe they do change?
Yeah, so when we come to things that have to do, for example, like technological advancements or things such as maybe perhaps weather, then those would be factors that might create dependence. If we have some type of glitch in our system that causes a plane to crash, well, maybe either that glitch creates problems and you could say, oh, well, now that airline's dangerous, there's a higher probability that crashes will come sooner. Another example would be something like hurricane season. So if we have one plane that crashes due to that, well, maybe that season will change or impact the likelihood of future plane crashes.
So is it fair to say that there are these root causes for why planes crash, and each of these individual major factors are indeed independent of each other, but then inside each of these categories, there are chances for dependency to exist, either to amp up the probability or to tone it down?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. That's a good way of thinking about it.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully we can get this video finished up and then we can send it to your friend and he can watch it a few times and he'll finally understand it. I doubt it. Yeah, and I know him. He's a pretty Yeah, I know him. He's a really bright guy, actually.
Yes, indeed.